What is good, everybody? I'm the Shadow Sage, and this is part 13 of What If Naruto Went Rogue. And like always, if you do enjoy the video, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, remember to join the Discord server, links in the description down below. And now without any further ado, let's get right into the video.
Go! Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
So first off, we're going to recap what happened in the past parts, since obviously it's been a while. Basically, Pain announced at the 5 Kage Summit, actually 4 Kage Summit, that he will be allying with the Hitoshi. Now obviously, Toby isn't too happy about this, so they will duke it out. And apparently, due to unpopular opinion, I do say that the 6 Pads of Pain plus Conan beat Orange Mask Obito. And I mostly attributed it to Rinnegan hacks plus it being in the Rain Village, so the 6 Pads of Pain and Conan did have home advantage. We saw what Conan did against Obito with prep time and home advantage, and she's pretty fodder, so Pain with prep time just beats Orange Mask Obito, because Orange Mask Obito was kind of featless. And I'm gonna be quite frank, if it was any other version of Obito, White Mask Obito, Jubito, he'd pretty much clap Pain, but at this point in the story, where he didn't have any of those forms, he was pretty featless, and most of his powers, other than Kamui, just aren't explained. So I give the win to Pain. And after the fight, Pain will bring the whole Akatsuki to the Hitoshi hideout, which is the Mist Village, and they will tell Naruto that they are teaming up as of right now, and Naruto will set the ground rules of this new alliance. But afterwards, Itachi will confront him because Sasuke was recently a prisoner of the Hitoshi. And around that part is where we left off in the last video, so now let's get right into this one. So once Itachi confronts Naruto, Naruto will feel a massive bloodlust just oozing, and he prepares for battle. So he blitzes Itachi with his Fire Fist jutsu, and when he punches Itachi, he just disperses into a flock of crows. And the crows just start swarming him, and the crows are blocking his vision, and by the time he gets the crows off of him, he finds himself floating in the air, in a world where the colors are completely different, and if you haven't realized already, Naruto's already in Itachi's genjutsu. And this is the same genjutsu that Itachi used on Naruto before Itachi fought Sasuke, and it was the one where he gave Naruto Shisui's eye. But the difference is this time, Itachi's actually super bloodlusted, because obviously no one messes with Sasuke and gets away with it. You can just ask Danzo about that one. And so basically all Itachi does is ask what happens to Sasuke, and Naruto says that he let Sasuke go. It wasn't his place to tell Sasuke what to do, and if Naruto said anything otherwise, Itachi would probably kill Naruto, but Itachi lowers his guard in this scenario because Naruto did nothing wrong. And now that his guard is lowered, Naruto asks Itachi a question, and that's because throughout Naruto's travels, he's encountered many different types of people, and is a pretty good judge of somebody's character. And he's heard rumors of the infamous clan killer Itachi, but his first impression of Itachi was not one of a serial killer. And furthermore, he just saw Itachi display genuine concern for Sasuke's well-being. And so he asks clan killer Itachi, "What is your angle here?" And this catches Itachi off guard. And Itachi tries to keep up his cover and asks Naruto what he's alluding to, and Naruto says, "You're the infamous clan killer. No sane person slaughters their whole family without a reason. Now you strike me as pretty sane, to say the least, and also what I just felt from you was true love for your brother and genuine concern. Now I repeat myself, what is your angle here, Itachi?" And now, Itachi is completely taken aback by this, because Naruto's the first person to come so close to figuring out Itachi's secret, and he thinks for a short moment that he might tell Naruto, because Naruto's already so close to the truth, and he finds Naruto pretty trustworthy. But keep in mind, he's been loyal to the Leaf all these years. The Leaf Village is his boss, like, he's been loyal to them, obviously, he slaughtered his whole clan for them, so he quickly squashes that thought from his mind. And Naruto can see the inner turmoil on Itachi's face, and when he doesn't answer, Naruto just sighs and says, "Do what you must." I can infer the situation mostly, and he just walks away. Actually, he doesn't care, but in reality, he's pretty annoyed because he's losing a Kage level fighter for the Hitoshi, and it'll make stuff obviously harder, but he does respect Itachi's will, and he says, "Just go on and do what you must." And so Itachi will go to the Uchiha fortress where he will meet Sasuke, and they will battle, and it'll go exactly like in canon, but at the end, when Itachi is dead at Sasuke's feet, he won't implant Amaterasu into Sasuke's eyes, because he believes that the fake Madara is dead, because he believes that Pain killed him. And quickly, word of the massive battle reaches the Mist, and Naruto decides to send a search party. When the squad reaches the fort, they can't find a single trace of the brothers, and when they report back, Naruto isn't quite sure what to make of this. He assumes that Itachi did not intend for Sasuke to die, and out of respect for Itachi, he decides to investigate. Naruto arranges a 4-man squad led by Kisame to find out what happened to the brothers. The reason he assigns Kisame as leaders due to the emotional attachment that Kisame has to Itachi. It was stated in a data book that Kisame was heartbroken when he found out that Itachi died, and so he figures that Kisame has the biggest incentive to carry out the mission successfully. But after weeks of searching through the rubble, trying to find clues, like, they're not just like searching, they're like doing actual detective work, you know, using ninja hounds to track them down, asking people who are in neighboring villages if they've seen Itachi or Sasuke, so like real Amy from NCIS vibes, you feel me? But after weeks, maybe even months of absolutely no clues, they give up and they report back to the Mist to confirm the prior reports. And Naruto obviously is not happy about this, but he knows that there's nothing they can do. He hopes Itachi is still alive due to them not finding the remains, but he hasn't come back at all, so it's all based on hope, and that's a feeling that Naruto has given up on. And this marks the last major event before a new time skip. And the reason there's going to be another time skip is because at this point, not much is actually going to happen. Political tensions are rising, and each side is just trying to consolidate more power before an upcoming war. And historically, revolutions and rebellions actually take a long time before the climax, and that's what's going to happen during this time skip. And in more detail, Naruto's going to keep recruiting people, vigorously training his forces, and especially himself. And I do believe that in this time period, Naruto and Kurama will develop partnerships of sorts. I wouldn't go as far to say friendship, but Kurama does have more respect for Naruto's goals, drives, and perseverance. He was even giving Naruto chakra before, but now he's willingly giving him more chakra. And the reason I don't think that Kurama will befriend Naruto is because of his cruelty and his overall demeanor. He's nothing like the Sage Six Paths, and Kurama is like 50-50s on ends justify the means. And Naruto is someone who embodies the best and worst of humanity, and Kurama is a beast who hates humans because he has first-hand experienced the cruelty of humans, and he'll not be willing to overlook Naruto's negatives, but he is willing to cooperate due to their common goal of ridding the world of hatred. And on that note, I kind of want to take a moment to talk about Naruto's character development throughout the past few parts. And I know that not everybody enjoys character development, but it's something I really enjoy when reading or watching a piece of media. So I will leave a timestamp right here on the screen, and if you want to skip ahead, just skip ahead. But now let's get right into this. I wanted to point out a key theme that I've tried to keep. From the beginning, I've been trying to emphasize the internal struggle of Naruto's heart, his hatred versus spirit of Ashura, as early as part 3 actually.
Deep down, he has the inner Naruto, the Naruto that he abandoned 4 years ago. That's his inner will of fire, his inner kindness, his inner Ashura, you know what I mean? Right now he's more like Indra, but it's his inner Ashura that he's suppressing. And in his art, he tries to suppress his hatred and sadness, but he doesn't try to erase it. But he tries to erase his inner Ashura, but it's just something that he cannot scrub away. It's there, and no matter how much he tries, he cannot erase it, so he's just trying to suppress it.
It was after the Konoha Crush attempt when he started to create his new philosophy, where his inner Ashura fused with his hatred. I wanted to show this based on how he formed a whole army, a recurring theme in the Ashura reincarnation. I also want to point out a polarity between Pain and Naruto. Despite them having the same goal and being allies, Pain calls himself a god, and it's not until he's about to die and talked to jutsu by Naruto that he acknowledges his hypocrisy. I tried to highlight this when I said he realizes that Naruto has what he doesn't, an aura, a way of leadership, and he knows that Naruto could change the world in ways that he couldn't. And this was something that Pain said about Naruto. I hope that clears up my reasoning for anything that you thought that shouldn't have happened in the past part, and I want you guys to understand how Naruto has developed and what kind of character he is now. And to sum it up, it's basically as I said before, he's the best and worst representation of humanity. He fused his two good and bad sides together, and this is the cruel yet humane person that has come out of this. And now back to the story. We're going to jump straight to the end of the time skip, which is about 6 months to a year, and the length doesn't actually matter a whole bunch. And I have one more thing to add to the time skip, and this is something that one of my viewers, an OG, recommended to me back in like part 1 or part 2 of this story. And if you're still watching this series like many months later, I just want to thank you for sticking around, and don't worry, I do read the comments, and even though it's been a long time, I do remember them. And so, at the end of the time skip, or by the end of the time skip, Naruto masters the secret Black Lightning technique used by his former master Darui. Since Naruto only learned lightning style in the last time skip, he didn't have time to master such an advanced technique like Black Lightning. And furthermore, he's gonna be self-taught for Black Lightning because he doesn't have Darui to teach it to him, and he's gonna have to replicate it from memory, which is quite difficult, but by the end of the time skip, he will have it down. And moving on now, at the end of the time skip, we are entering the final phase of the story. At this point chronologically, The fear of war has completely taken over the psyche of the four nations. They were tired of waiting for the Hitoshi, who were only using this time to strengthen themselves and each individual shinobi. The allied shinobi force sends out a scout team to infiltrate the Hitoshi, and their job is to go undercover and join the Hitoshi as double agents. And since the Hitoshi are a symbol of the people and they're preparing for war, they're basically accepting anybody. And the double agents use the excuse that they've lost too many comrades in ninja wars and during missions, and that the cycle must be eradicated by force if necessary. And this is a sentiment shared amongst many people in the Hitoshi, so they join without any hindrance and they have no reason to be suspected. And upon living with the villagers and the members of the Hitoshi, they realize that the Hitoshi aren't the monsters that they were propped up to be by the four great nations propaganda, which we do know is prevalent in military societies. And it's kind of the same way that the Akatsuki weren't the monsters that they were propped up to be as well. And the group was actually enticed by the hospitality, the sense of unity, and the dedication to a meaningful cause. Now the only question is their sense of nationalism and dedication to their village strong enough to avoid succumbing to their own human nature? It's a classic case of the White Fang of the Leaf versus Kid Kakashi. We know that the code of the shinobi is very strict and was instilled in the young children since the academy, but an idealistic world seemed truly amazing to these men and women, and in the end, a rift formed in the group. Fighting broke out, and even those who were moderate within the group didn't stop it. Division ran its course, and one sided with the Hitoshi and ratted out their former comrades. As the next day rolled around, the anti-Hitoshi faction found themselves surrounded by the shinobi who were ready to kill some spies. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I want to thank everybody who has stuck around with me through the ups and downs, and like always, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and without any further ado, remember to stay safe and have a great day. I am the Shadow Sage, signing off.